Hi, mathematicians. Um, I'm sure you are getting so tired of learning this way. Please know that I'm getting tired of teaching this way, and I really wish we were in front of each other for all the end of the year fun stuff. But today's assignment, there are a couple things we're going to review. It's going to help you a lot next year in eighth grade. So I'm going to take a minute to go over two different examples here of what you're going to be learning or kind of reviewing, and then you can finish your practice for today. Something I want to say and make sure that you're hearing is the last day of school is Tuesday, May 19th. The last day that you are getting assignments is Friday, May 15th. The seventh grade teachers have decided that on Monday and Tuesday of next week, we want you to have some time to go back through, make sure you finished things. I know I've talked to some kids who they've started different activities and they just forget to hit submit. So look through, if it says incomplete, check if there's a comment. If there's no comment, chances are you forgot to hit submit. So easy enough. Get some things checked off the list. I really need you to make sure you did the statistics summative assessment because that's helping me decide how well you've mastered this content. Last comment before I get started here, Mathia. You will continue to have access to Mathia. I know a lot of you, that's not your favorite thing to do, but you will have access to it through July 20th, which means if you're looking for something to do, you have access to that. I know some of you are trying hard to finish it, and I really appreciate that. That will definitely help you next year. And some of you just like to kind of practice your skills a little bit so that when you get back to school in the fall, there's not as big of an adjustment. So that would be something that, I mean, even if you picked 2 days a week and you spent 15 minutes on Mathia, that would be really, really helpful to you next year as an eighth grade mathematician. So the first review thing we're doing today is combining like terms. Now remember, that means we can combine something with the same variable to kind of simplify. We cannot solve this. There's no equal sign. It's not an equation. It could be, but in this case, it's an expression, and the best thing we can do is simplify it down. So the first thing I notice when I look at this is I have an x over here. I have 4x. I have positive 3x. I want to make sure to include the sign in front of it with it. And then here I have negative x. Now I have to remember that that negative x is like having a 1 there. So I have 4x plus 3x, which would give me 7x minus 1x. So that means I have 6x. Now I'm going to switch colors because I'm trying to make this visual. I'm going to look at my y values. I have 5y and I have negative 7y. So now I have to remember my integer rules. So I have 5y minus 7y. That's actually going to give me negative 2y. And then when I look up here, I have this plus 2 that has no variable. I can't combine it with anything else. So I'm going to leave it here at the end as plus 2. So the simplified version of this long expression is 6x minus 2y plus 2. That's all I can do. I can't combine these things further because this x and this y and this thing without a variable, you can't put them together. Okay? Then the next thing you're going to do today is the distributive property. So I've got two different examples because I want to make sure I show you two different things and remind you of what we've done before. So distributive property is where you have something outside the parentheses and then something inside the parentheses, and we're going to multiply. So here I'm going to multiply 12 times my 1/4. So I'm going to rewrite this just so you can see it. It's 12 times 1/4, and then I'm adding to it because there's a plus sign there. Oops, daisy. 12 times 1/3. So I'm going to rewrite that. 12 times 1/3. So 12 times 1/4 is the same thing as 12 divided by 4. So that's going to give me 3 plus, I keep that plus sign there, 12 times 1/3 is like 12 divided by 3, which is 4. So the answer here is 7. Now, the nice thing about using distributive property here is I didn't have to first find a common denominator, find equivalent fractions, and then do the multiplication. I was able to multiply the 12 by each of the fractions, and I get my answer a little easier. The other way I can use distributive property is with variables in here, okay? So now you'll notice this time out front here I have a -2. So I'm going to multiply -2 times my 4x. Then I'm going to add to it, because it's a plus sign here, -2 times 5. So now I'm going to multiply and kind of clean this up a little bit. So -2 times 4x will give me -8x. And I'm going to add to it -2 times 5. Well, I know -2 times 5 is -10. So I could write this as plus a -10. Or if I don't like that plus or minus thing, I can write it as -8x minus 10. So hopefully this kind of refreshed your memory a little bit about these two things, and you can complete today's activity. Please email me if you have questions. Send me a Schoology message, but go back through and be checking. Make sure you've hit submit on your assignments, and make sure you're kind of wrapping up the year with things turned in, not just in math, but go through your other classes too, including your trimester class. Like if you have health or PE or art right now, you definitely have assignments for each of those classes. So make sure that you're getting those submitted as well. I miss you all. I hope you have a lovely day, and I hope I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.